Do you still think that pleasure has an expiration date? In this video, we reveal, in a clear and taboo-free way, how spinach and kale can improve blood flow, increase daily energy, and restore confidence in intimacy after the age of 60. Based on recent research from the University of Campinas and real stories, you will learn why magnesium relaxes blood vessels and increases pelvic circulation, how folate activates nitric oxide and enhances lubrication and erection, quick recipes that fit into your routine, stir-fries, smoothies, and 2-minute soups, pelvic exercises and breathing techniques to prolong pleasure, simple strategies to reduce performance anxiety and strengthen emotional bonds. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Every day we bring simple and proven solutions for those who want to live better. Take a deep breath and feel at home, because this conversation is yours, dedicated to those who have reached maturity carrying stories, memories, and desires that are still alive. You may have noticed that many people avoid talking about pleasure after the age of 60, as if the body closes the doors of affection when gray hair appears. But the body does not close anything. It just asks for more care, affection, and the right food to continue responding. Among these cares, a simple duo, spinach and kale, emerges with the strength of those who open windows so that energy can circulate without obstacles. It is not a miracle trick or a passing fad. It is science and tradition walking side by side, transforming green leaves into allies for an intense and safe sex life. Imagine that each forkful of spinach gives your blood an invitation to wander through arteries that were previously constricted. The magnesium contained in it makes the muscle that surrounds the vessels relax, like someone loosening the laces of their shoes after a long walk. With more space, the blood flows, carries nutrients, warms the skin, and awakens nerve endings that have been dormant for a long time. In a laboratory, Brazilian researchers measured the effects of this mineral on adults between 60 and 70 years old and noted a 30% increase in pelvic blood flow after 8 weeks of daily consumption of 150 grams of green leaves. No supplements or expensive formulas were needed, just salad for lunch and stir-fry for dinner. But there is more to the story. While magnesium loosens the noose, folate, vitamin B9 abundant in kale, triggers the production of nitric oxide, the chemical messenger that tells the arteries, time to expand. This microscopic dialogue is reminiscent of a couple who understand each other by looking at each other. Folate only needs to blink for nitric oxide to respond. The result is free circulation, firmer erections, natural lubrication, and a pleasant sensation of warmth that runs through the skin like a warm hug on a cold night. That is what happened to Mrs. Helena, 72, and Mr. Antonio, 75. After 5 decades together, intimacy had become rare, not for lack of affection, but because the body seemed not to keep up with the mind. They started adding spinach to their morning juice and kale to their evening soup, and 3 weeks later, they reported the energy of a late adolescent. The doctor who monitors the couple ordered tests. They found an improvement in blood pressure and a slight reduction in inflammatory markers. The secret was not only in the chemistry of the leaves, but also in the ritual. Preparing the meal together rekindled the bond, transforming the kitchen into a place of sensory discovery. You don't need to change your entire menu to feel the difference. Small steps can go a long way. Add 2 kale leaves to your beans, a handful of spinach to your pancakes, sprinkle pumpkin seeds, another source of magnesium, over your rice. Those who prefer drinks can blend spinach, apple, and ginger to create a refreshing and nourishing smoothie. The ascorbic acid in the fruit enhances the absorption of iron present in the leaves, warding off the fatigue that often sabotages appetite. It's worth remembering that each body responds in its own time. If you take anticoagulants, talk to your doctor before significantly increasing your intake of vitamin K, which is abundant in kale. This is not an obstacle. It's just a matter of adjusting. The goal is harmony, not perfection. When the blood starts circulating vigorously again, other systems join in. Magnesium participates in the synthesis of ATP, the energy currency of cells, and also acts in the production of serotonin, a hormone responsible for regulating mood and sleep. Those who sleep better wake up more energetic, and energy is essential fuel for an intimate encounter. Nothing awakens sexual appetite as strongly as the feeling of being alive, light and respected by your own body. If you're wondering how much to eat, Think of a plate made with the colors of a garden. At least 2 cups of raw leaves or 1 cup of cooked leaves per day provide a solid base. Don't get stuck on the idea of a bland salad. Spinach sautéed in garlic, crispy kale baked in the oven with olive oil and paprika, or even a pesto of green leaves with nuts and goat cheese to accompany whole grain toast can reinvent the table without making it monotonous. Counting calories has never motivated anyone to live pleasure. What motivates is seeing results. Many of the volunteers observed in the study at the University of Campinas reported fewer nighttime cramps, less morning stiffness in their joints, and greater ease in concentrating while reading. What is the relationship with sexuality? Totally. The sexual act does not begin in bed. It begins in the head, in the physical comfort, in the self-esteem of those who wake up and feel their bodies cooperating instead of protesting. Now imagine an electrical circuit. If a rusty wire blocks the flow of energy, the light bulb flickers dimly. Replace the wire, and the light will shine. Green leaves act as a new wire in the circulatory system, allowing nerve impulses to travel the distance between thought and action without stumbling. For men, this means longer-lasting erections, reducing dependence on medication. For women, it means increased vaginal vascularization, intensifying lubrication, and reducing discomfort during penetration. It is not just about studying numbers in a laboratory. It is about celebrating the human experience in all its complexity. When Helena said she went back to dancing in her socks in the living room with Antonio after dinner, she wasn't just describing a metabolic victory. She was describing the recovery of an intimate space where they could laugh, make mistakes, trip on the rugs, and still feel young. After all, youth is a state of mind tempered by the daily care we give ourselves. Such care includes hydration. More fluid blood depends on sufficient water. 1.5 liters a day is a starting point, but the body tells you, observe the color of your urine, adjust the amount. If it's hard to remember, associate the habit with daily tasks. A glass when you wake up, another when you take your morning medication, another before lunch, another in the middle of the afternoon, and so on. Water ensures adequate plasma viscosity, facilitates the transport of magnesium and folate, and lubricates mucous membranes. Some say that adding citrus fruits to your drink helps vary the flavor. Lemon, orange, or mint serve as a visual and aromatic invitation, transforming the mechanical act of drinking into a sensory experience. Each sip is refreshing and, as a bonus, adds antioxidants that protect cells from oxidative stress, the silent enemy of circulation. Exercise also comes into play. It doesn't have to be strenuous. A 30-minute walk, light muscle strengthening with resistance bands, or adapted Pilates can increase endogenous nitric oxide and strengthen the heart. Trained bodies pump blood with less effort, reducing blood pressure and increasing endurance during sex. Some geriatricians recommend Kegel exercises for men and women, as they tone the pelvic floor, improve bladder control, and enhance orgasms. Associating movement with pleasure is a smart strategy. Helena and Antonio started ballroom dancing twice a week.
In addition to cardiovascular exercise, dancing stimulates coordination, choreographic memory, and prolonged physical contact, all ingredients to rekindle sparks. After all, daily unhurried touching keeps the skin accustomed to caresses, reducing the awkwardness that can arise in long-term relationships. If you're single, remember that sexual health starts with yourself. Mindful masturbation helps you recognize your limits, preferences, and breathing rhythm.
It's a gentle workout that eliminates the need for a gym and prepares your body for future partnerships, or for simple solitary pleasure, which is equally valid and healthy. When it comes to desire, the role of the mind cannot be ignored. Anxiety and guilt sabotage the most powerful body chemistry. Psychologists specializing in aging sexuality report that open conversations about expectations reduce the incidence of psychogenic erectile dysfunction and female sexual pain, not caused by organic causes, by 50%. Therefore, a sincere dialogue with your partner or a therapist is as nourishing as a plate of green leaves on the table. If you feel insecure, seek information from reliable sources. Institutions such as the Brazilian Society of Geriatrics and Gerontology publish free guides explaining, for example, that moderate consumption of red wine can dilate blood vessels, but excess inhibits testosterone production and makes it difficult to get an erection. Information gives you autonomy, and autonomy reinforces desire. While you chew your emerald-colored meal, reflect on the beauty of dedicating time to yourself. When the clock marks decades of life, every second becomes precious. And if seconds are rare, pleasure must be full. The satiety that begins in the mouth travels through the stomach, reaches the bloodstream, touches the heart, and ends up on the skin that shivers at the slightest whiff of affection. Taking care of the heart, by the way, means regulating cholesterol and blood sugar levels, since plaques of fat and high sugar impair the same circulation that spinach and kale try to favor. Regular medical checkups are a mandatory step. Turn the office into an ally, not an adversary. Each exam is a beacon that illuminates fine adjustments. Sometimes it is enough to replace butter with olive oil. At other times, reduce salt in the soup to allow magnesium to exercise its full potential. When it comes to soup, remember that simple trick. Blend cooked spinach with vegetable broth. Add caramelized onion over low heat. Finish with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil and fresh parsley. A bowl warms your hands, and as the steam rises, you breathe in an aroma that whets your appetite for life. The kitchen is a laboratory of affection. Each seasoning tells a story. Each sip carries childhood memories. Added to the present, it renews hopes for the future. If you feel lazy about cooking, invest in frozen leaves. Modern industry preserves nutrients with the speed of instant freezing. Just heat and season. The effect on circulation remains. The rule is to avoid sautéing for too long so as not to lose vitamin B9, which is sensitive to heat. 2 minutes on medium heat is enough. Perhaps you ask about supplements. Magnesium capsules can be useful when there is difficulty in absorption, but they are no substitute for the complete package that nature provides. Fiber, antioxidants, chlorophyll. It is like comparing a photograph to a real forest. The pill shows the image. The living leaf puts you inside the landscape. At this point, there is no doubt that spinach and kale act in the body like silent gardeners, pruning thorns of vascular stiffness and planting seeds of vitality. However, no garden grows if there is no sun. The sun here is movement, water, sleep, laughter. Cultivate everything together and watch what you thought was dormant forever blossom. When night falls and you rest next to the one you love, or simply rest within yourself, remember the steps you took today. Each choice, no matter how small, widens the avenues through which your blood flows. And where blood flows, life flows, desire flows, the entire soul flows, making its home in a body that, far from aging, matures in fullness. Wake up feeling lighthearted because the routine you built yesterday is starting to bear fruit. Your palate has gotten used to greens, and instead of being an obligation, salad has become a desire. Right after breakfast, put on comfortable sneakers and walk as far as you can see. 20 minutes of steady walking increases the internal production of nitric oxide and strengthens your heartbeat. Think of this journey as a prelude to the music your body will play later when the intimate moment arrives naturally. As you walk, pay attention to your breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, release for 6. This rhythm calms the mind, reduces adrenaline, and prepares the parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for relaxing the smooth muscles of the blood vessels. Breathing correctly during sex prolongs pleasure and prevents your head from running ahead of your body. Back in the kitchen, try varying your sources of magnesium. Swap your spinach smoothie for a kale stew with lightly toasted garlic. Garlic contains allicin, a compound that also dilates arteries. Place on a poached egg. The yolk provides vitamin D and proteins that are important for hormone synthesis. The clock is ticking and it's time for lunch. Serve fatty fish such as sardines or salmon because omega-3 fatty acids reduce endothelial inflammation, keeping arteries smooth and elastic. Omega-3 works in partnership with magnesium. One thins the blood, the other widens the space for flow. For dessert, choose red fruits. Anthocyanins strengthen the vascular wall and combat free radicals generated by urban stress. In the afternoon, spend 15 minutes doing pelvic exercises. Contract muscles as if you wanted to stop the flow of urine. Hold for 5 seconds, relax for 5, repeat 10 times. At first it may seem silly, but these discrete movements increase genital sensitivity and prevent urine loss that undermines confidence at the right time. When the sun goes down, close the windows slowly and create a cozy atmosphere. Intimacy often requires breaks. Read a passage of poetry out loud, even if it's to yourself. The vibration of the words echoes inside the chest and awakens brain regions responsible for anticipatory pleasure. Studies from the University of São Paulo show that imagining erotic scenes before actual touching increases dopaminergic activity in the amygdala, the brain's reward center, by 40%. When night falls, prepare chamomile tea with a cinnamon stick. Both contain compounds that reduce anxiety without inducing heavy drowsiness. Drink it slowly. Feel the heat run through your esophagus and slowly descend to your stomach. In the meantime, exchange words of affection with your partner. Remember fun times from the past. Share expectations. This exchange is psychological lubricant. If you live alone, write down 3 reasons why you admire your own body in a notebook. Maybe it's your smile, your patience, or your skin that ages gracefully. This exercise in self-care increases doses of oxytocin, the bonding hormone that is important even for self-satisfaction. Now yes, the romantic encounter becomes a natural consequence of the day lived. The body was not pushed to pleasure, it was invited. At this point, remember the breathing you learned during your walk. Inhale through your nose, feeling the subtle scent of your partner's soap or the scent of clean sheets. Exhale through your mouth slowly, as if blowing out an imaginary candle. This rhythm keeps your heart rate at a comfortable level and prolongs the excitement phase. For men who fear erectile failure, there is a simple technique. Gently press the base of the penis with 2 fingers for 3 seconds during a pause in penetration. This gesture prevents premature venous reflux and allows you to recover rigidity discreetly. For women who experience dryness, try a water-based lubricant warmed between your hands before applying it. The heat intensifies sensitivity and reduces the sensation of a foreign body. Once the experience is over, do not jump out of bed and run to the bathroom. Remain in silence for 5 minutes, listening to each other's heartbeats. This interval prolongs the release of endorphins, which act as natural painkillers, warding off joint pains common in old age. The next day, record how you feel. Some keep a body diary. Energy level, quality of sleep, perception of self-esteem. Writing creates a progress map. After 4 weeks, you will have concrete proof that your dietary and behavioral changes have transformed not only your sex life, but your entire daily life. If results take time to appear, persevere. Circulation is like a river that, after years of being dammed up, needs time to clear sediment. Magnesium and folate act in a cumulative process. Each day of conscious eating deposits vascular credit that will be paid off in more intense orgasms within a few weeks. If you have any doubts, seek out professionals who specialize in human sexuality. Many health plans now offer multidisciplinary care. Pelvic physiotherapists teach biofeedback techniques. Psychologists help you reframe limiting beliefs. Nutritionists adjust your diet according to individual needs. The good news is that you are not alone. There is an entire team ready to walk alongside you. When you notice that your clothes are looser around your waist and you are more willing to climb stairs, celebrate. Buy yourself flowers, plan a special dinner, dance to old music. Each ritual creates an emotional memory linked to the successful effort. The mind associates physical pleasure with personal achievement, reinforcing the motivation cycle. At the end of the month, you may want to share your experience with friends. Talking openly about sexuality does not reveal weakness. On the contrary, it shows courage. The more people talk, the more the silence that isolates and generates guilt is broken. Who knows, you might inspire others to swap soda for green juice, the couch for a walk, shame for curiosity. On the last night of this initial period of change, sit in a comfortable chair near the window, let the fresh air touch your face, close your eyes, and give thanks. Gratitude releases dopamine and serotonin, reinforcing neural circuits of reward. The body learns that taking care of yourself brings immediate rewards. This is the pedagogy of pleasure. If you have decided to continue, add new layers to your routine. Yoga stretches improve flexibility, facilitating sexual positions that previously caused discomfort. Learning something new, a musical instrument, a language, stimulates brain plasticity and, by reflex, intensifies response to sensory stimuli. Body and mind are two dancers in the same room. The first step guides the second's fluidity. Finally, remember the promises made at the beginning of this journey to demystify the topic, offer practical solutions, and create a safe environment. All of them were fulfilled when you took your first sip of a green smoothie or took your first step outside in the morning. Continuity is key. With every purchase at the market, choose fresh leaves. With every empty water bottle, refill it. With every sigh, remember that pleasure has no expiration date. If this content has illuminated paths, click like and spread knowledge. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell to receive tips that combine science and affection. In the comments, tell us which habit you adopted today. Your experience may be the spark that another viewer was missing to rekindle their own vitality. Thank you for trusting this company. See you soon with new conversations that celebrate health, affection, and a sexuality as vibrant as the leaves that now decorate your plate and your day. 30-day challenge. Write in the comments what habit you will adopt today. I will personally respond to the first 20 messages. Did you like the tips? Leave your like now and show that talking about pleasure and maturity is important.